A delegation of elected officials, business leaders, and community members organized by the Rio Grande Valley Partnership descended on Austin for the biannual RGV Day at the Capitol to advocate for issues, priorities related to economic and business development, transportation and border infrastructure, education and workforce development, environmental and water resources, public health and human services, public safety and transportation, and infrastructure for the four-county area. Aside from meeting with state leaders and agencies, the group also attended the governor's State of the State address in Austin.
Texas leads the nation in new job creation.
City leaders were at the Capitol to listen to Governor Greg Abbott as he listed the state's accomplishments and his list of priorities for the legislative session. McAllen City Manager Roy Rodriguez says the city set aside McAllen Day to start RGV Day in a unified effort with other Rio Grande Valley cities to represent over 1 million people.
We started this RGV Day 2 sessions back. So we did it in 17 and we did it in 15. What we started realizing is that folks that come to the Capitol with asks, with requests from the state, come with very large numbers. You know, when let's say the Dallas or Fort Worth or both area come here, or Austin, San Antonio, Houston, I mean, their entourage, right, and the people that they represent is huge.
McAllen Mayor Jim Darling says working as a region is a relatively new phenomenon.
You know, I always said what happens in Mexico happens to McAllen. What happens in the Valley happens to us too. I think everybody's finally realizing that, and there's a lot of things we can work together on.
Local leaders recognize there is a common ground among South Texas cities, and banding together to address the issues is of benefit to the region as a whole.
We can come together as a region and talk to our legislators, our senators, our representatives, so that hopefully they can see, well, I think they know some of the issues we have, and hopefully we can give them an earful and they'll understand.
If we can get those 3 MPOs together, then we're going to be at the table with the very large MPOs of the state. And so therefore transportation is important to us. Education is important. Medical research and medical facilities. Higher education, our medical school. So, you know, we stick to those core issues every time we come to Austin.
Obviously financing, everybody has individual financing things. So I think as a region, you know, we've been underserved with TxDOT money. So getting an MPO and also building relationships with TxDOT to do that's number one. Number two, you know, they're talking about tax. Make sure that we don't like tax. We have one of the lowest tax rates in the state.
Rio Grande Valley legislators joined the delegation at a luncheon to discuss the issues.
It has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with what's better for the community, the Rio Grande Valley as a whole. Of course, one of the most important issues facing us right now is transportation.
McAllen Commissioner Veronica Whitaker is hoping to change some perspectives.
It speaks volumes for us. Our voice should be heard. A lot of people, you know, put South Texas to the side. We've gotten a lot of recognition in the last couple of months. Of course, it's not been positive. So us being here today shows that we're a strong community. We are a positive community, and we want to move forward together.
McAllen Commissioner J.J. Zamora says he's confident with the size of the delegation.
It's a wonderful opportunity for all the municipalities and the counties in our region to speak with one voice. And it's something to see where familiar faces, new faces coming here, showing the legislature, both House and Senate, and especially the lieutenant and the governor of the state of Texas, that we're united.
The University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, credited with bringing the region together for a common cause, were on hand from administrators, educators, and staff to knock on doors at the Capitol.
I'm happy that we have a day and that our attention is growing and our region is growing as well. So that we have a great numbers of our representatives from any different groups, from the political, from the religious side, from the economical, so we are growing.
Commissioner Zamora says other priorities for the region hits close to home.
International trade is our number one reason why we're here today. Making sure that we have those facilities that are necessary, that encourages and promotes those trade corridors.
For the business community, the McAllen Chamber of Commerce represents more than 1,400 businesses in the McAllen area.
I think it's important as a region that we represent a unified front, and I think it will pay huge dividends for us long term. I think the other thing is it sets the stage then for each individual community to go and do, pursue their own legislative agendas.
Elenia says small business owners are interested in the bottom line.
obviously, taxes, everything's about taxes. And I think they want to make sure that there's not an undue burden placed on the business community in terms of the types of taxes that they have to pay, whether it's the franchise tax or property tax. Obviously, there's a lot of discussion about the cap on the value, the increases in property tax. That's something that the business community is interested in.
The Rio Grande Valley Partnership represents the Chambers of Commerce and the Visitor Bureaus in South Texas, which represent more than 1 million people.
It's a great opportunity for the entire four-county region to collaborate, get together, and advocate for the many challenges and opportunities that we have in the Rio Grande Valley. It's great to see every single community, many different chambers of commerce engaged in this process.
This isn't only a city delegation, but a multi-county issue coalition with Hidalgo, Cameron, Willacy, and Starr.
Hopefully, at the elected level, local, state, federal, our business community, our health community, everybody realizing that if we work together, if we're all on the same page, even if we have different words, but we're all on the same page going forward, we're all going to benefit from this.
We have many critical needs. One is the dire need for them to reform public finance for school districts. In addition to that, access to health care with a comprehensive Trauma One Center. Also continue to support transportation, continue to support international trade in our communities.
For the Rio Grande Legislative Delegation, they're working with their colleagues to make sure South Texas is not dismissed.
This is my fourth session on appropriations, so we're always asking for more money and more funding, especially when it comes to infrastructure for our schools and healthcare and things that are important for us in the Valley.
I was appointed by the Speaker of the House as the Chair of Transportation, which holds sway over billions of dollars, and over TxDOT and railways, all airports, waterways, ports in general, and so it's an extremely vital role to play, especially since our community has so many transportation needs.
I'm actually looking for stuff to see where we can make sure we can put some funding for South Texas for the stuff that we always try to look for, whether it be our University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, the medical school component, infrastructure, make sure we look out for drainage.
Representative Bobby Guerra says the number of Rio Grande Valley communities coming together is getting the governor's attention.
Well, I think it's absolutely awesome that we have such a good representation from the entire Rio Grande Valley here in Austin, Texas. I've already had many comments by other representatives understanding better our needs and understanding the importance that the Rio Grande Valley has to the state of Texas and the United States economically.
But there's much work to be done, according to legislators.
The message that you are leaving here today, Mayor Darlin and others who are here from a four-county area, is a strong one. It's about who we are, what we represent, what we'd like to see in the future for our children, our grandchildren.
Some of the bills that we're working on this session have to do with maintaining the integrity of our healthcare system, making sure that our providers are paid on time and that the services rendered are compatible with what they're providing, and making sure that it's affordable.
The Rio Grande Valley, my district in particular, has a lot of needs. We have a high unemployment rate, so I really want to focus on workforce training to prepare our young men and women that live in our area that are underemployed to learn a skill. With those job skills, we hope to find them jobs locally.
For smaller communities like Laguna Vista, Mayor Susie Houston says this is her second time here. The first time far exceeded her expectations because she met new people and made new friends.
I'm not a city of 3,000. I'm not a city of 100,000. I'm part of the Rio Grande Valley.
Mayor Houston says there's many issues that unite cities and counties.
Education. I've been a teacher for 40 years. Education is my top for me personally. Taxes, economic development, water issues, and safety for our families.
Representative Alex Dominguez, who represents the Brownsville area, says the efforts on RGV Day will impact the future growth of the Rio Grande Valley.
We have to be very careful with what happens to our future water needs for the valley. As the valley continues to grow, so will our water needs. I need to be there to prepare for that.
I have a couple transportation bills. One in particular is a regional transit authority to make sure we have a regional outlook at mass transit for busing and also for rail in the future and passenger rail. Also have other infrastructure bills that address drainage and transportation infrastructure across the Rio Grande Valley.
FAR District Engineer Pete Alvarez joined the delegation because each Rio Grande Valley community is affected by traffic.
I think it is important. We talk about a unified regional approach doing things, making sure that folks understand the needs for the valley. A population of 1.2, 1.5 in some estimations is expected to grow to 3 million by 2040.
Alvarez says all the signs point to future growth.
So as we move forward, we need to have the proper infrastructure, and it's going to take a true effort as a regional approach to be able to connect all the way from Brownsville to Starr County.
Legislators are ready to work together on common issues and needs.
Now that we have a world-class university along with the medical school, so many wonderful things. Texas A&M's presence in the valley is unbelievable.
We need to celebrate our successes. Sometimes our region gets lumped in with border violence, yet, in my community it's safe. I raise my kids, I don't have those issues. I don't have those concerns on a day-to-day basis. I see prosperity, I see opportunity.
The valley is very vibrant, has a lot to offer. It's rapidly growing. It's one of the fastest growing areas in the state, if not the nation. So we just want to make sure that our voices are heard and that our communities come out in full support so that we can have the regionalism and showcase what we're about.
I can tell you that I believe that there's nothing we can't accomplish together, and together, sí se puede. We can do it.
The entire Rio Grande Valley delegation is hoping to see their collaborative efforts recognized at the state level. For the City of McAllen, I'm Roy Cantu.